The turbo and dump pipe is put back on. So I took the guts out of the turbo housing and just put the rear housing on, and it's bolted down. So I've got Benny here doing some fabricating for me today, and we've actually done the rear wastegate pipe already, which is awesome because that's been a huge headache for us so far. So that's actually on and it looks awesome. Got the dump pipe there lined up ready to connect it up to the HKS exhaust soon. And we're just fabricating the front wastegate pipe now. So they're both just going to breathe to atmosphere, which I know will make a lot of you guys happy. It was easier to do that for us for now with everything we've got and time restraints. And it looks good. So Ben's here just purging the front pipe now. It's a fabricator.
Surely am. And
a drift king, DK. So we're purging this, Ben, yeah.
Yeah.
So we just got a straight argon going through. What's 5 litres?
Yeah, 5 litres per minute.
5 litres per minute, just going through. Coming up really well. So this is the front one. It's a pretty basic shape. It's just straight down to sort of the sump and then away out the back. So yeah, all fun and games this morning, but this is a huge job that we needed to get out of the way. So I'm very grateful that I've got Ben here helping me today. So we've got both wastegate pipes done, which we're pretty happy with. The front one we need to move just slightly because of the turbo drain one, but the back one was so easy. It did help that I had it all taped together, so Benny just had to copy it. But that's come out really cool. I'm super happy with that, and it's away from the firewall, which is my biggest pet hate with screamer pipes, is when they're at the firewall, they bounce off, like you get the bang and the pop when they open up, and it bounces off the firewall up through your feet. So I'm happy to have them where they are. So that one there will go up a fraction. That one there is perfect. And then Benny's just welding up our V-band for the titanium dump. So it's got to go to stainless now. So the dump pipe's in a good position. And then we've just got to connect it up to our HKS exhaust, which is back there. So we've got to put the O2 sensor adapter in. So there's my catalytic converter. This is a really high flowing catalytic converter. But what I do have to worry about is, well, not a worry, but because we've raised the subframe in this car, you can see there that it's quite high. So what I'll have to do is we need to lower the exhaust hangers just slightly, drop them down, but pretty simple. And then, yeah, we're nearly done. Home stretch. It's been a full day of fabrication, which I expected that. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. We're just about to go over some awesome new products we have received from Raceworks, and I'm pretty excited about this stuff because a lot of it I actually didn't know even existed. So we're going to get straight into it. To start off with, we've got this awesome product here from Turbo Smart. Now this is actually the oil pressure regulator holder, or an OPR. So this is for the OPR bracket. It's it actually says V2, which is for the version 2, which is this puppy here. So that's the oil pressure regulator by Turbo Smart. And then they've got this billet bracket to hold it, which I didn't actually know was available yet. So I'm pretty blessed to have that turn up to go on the car. That'll keep that little gremlin there sorted, because I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with that yet. So to have a billet bracket from Turbo Smart to back it up is awesome. Next is actually, well, we touched base on this in our last episode. So you would have seen in the last episode where we sort of touch based on how I do my hard tubes and how we do the bends and set it all up. So this is actually -10 though, so it's quite big. Now, the reason I want to use this stuff is I'm actually going to go through and redo my turbo drain line. So the turbo drain line ended up going very close to some wastegate pipes. So the front wastegate pipe, which goes straight down there, was right underneath the turbo here, and it was very close to the turbo return line, which is on the bench here. This would have been fine. This is just braided Teflon hose, and it would have been fine had it not been so close to that wastegate pipe. So it's probably going to be okay, but I don't want okay. I need to know that the GTR is not going to burn to the ground. I don't want the GTR to burn to the ground. That would be worst case scenario. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to change everything over to hard lines around the turbo. That way we're going to have no issues at all with melting or anything. Now, just to stop those issues happening, we definitely have some more heat sleeves here. So we've got some few different sizes of the heat sleeve, which will be brilliant. Over there, I've got some Dash 6 fitting stuff, which is just your normal braided Teflon fittings. There's nothing too special there. In here is some of the titanium heat wrap, because I'm not sure at the moment whether I'm just going to wrap my dump pipes or actually send them away and get them Cerakoted. So this is how the front dump pipe ended up. This has been purge welded, and it actually come up really, really nice. So it almost looks like it's been fused. It hasn't, it's just been purge weld. Now it's a pretty basic design. It just goes straight out and down around the subframe and straight down. Rightio, so I managed to pull the new GVW40 wastegates apart. Come apart really easy, and what I'm super happy about is that we can actually change the orientation of these when we put them back together, which will help immensely, because I had to rotate that front wastegate valve sort of 90 degrees around to get it in the right spot. Rightio, so we're going to have a break from working on the engine for now. I've sort of got it to a place where the hot side's off being Cerakote or getting Cerakote on it. I'm waiting for the catch can, so I'm waiting for the ATP catch can for up the front. This catch can here is obviously, as I've told you before, that's a crankcase ventilation can, or just crankcase ventilation. Catch can is going to be over that side. It's ATP, so it matches this one. Everything's off away, so I can't work on it. Hypertuner f***ing doing my head in, so I'm waiting on a radiator and a fan shroud. So hopefully, apparently it's packaged up and it's on its way. That's going to be a close one, but I'm happy with it. I don't know what I'm going to do about these AC lines. I might just sort of run this shroud around a bit, or I'll put some heat sleeves over them. But this is done. This is good. I'm happy with it. I'm just going to leave it. And as I said, I'm going to have a spell. I need to start working on some other shit, like the rest of the car. We're 2 weeks out. Rocky Nats is this weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. Sorry, I apologise. I know there was a few people looking forward to seeing the Mustang there. We'll see how we go next year. The main focus is getting this car to MotorX under the Raceworks banner. So let's concentrate on that. So let's have a look at this awesome M-Tron display. So this here is our GPS. So that needs to go, I believe it needs to face upwards and probably just up on the dash somewhere. So I'm going to do that first. It's nice and easy. We'll go mount this, and then we can make our CAN cable to connect this. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to mount this ED5, the dash display. It's much better than the 7-inch. The 5-inch is just a little bit smaller. I'm not a big fan of the massive dash across the GTR, so we can hide this somewhere and still have a good speedo display, etc. A little bit of a sidestep here. Got to the workshop this morning only to find $300 of motor gearbox oil leaked out onto the ground. Annoyingly enough, I knew there was a small leak because there was a drip off the Tomei cross member, but I undone these bolts last night to take this off, to just put some sealant on it to fix it, and I didn't realise how bad the leak was. As soon as I undone this bolt hole, which goes into these ones here, into the side, just the whole gearbox oil drained itself out that bung. So bit disappointed on Hollinger's part here, because obviously this is quite an expensive gearbox if anyone has ever priced a Hollinger. Spoken to those guys and we have confirmed it's coming out this thread hole. If you look right up there, you'll actually see a little hole. So It must just be that, I'd say that there was just a bit of porous material up there, and when they've set their drill to tap these, it's just gone in and undone it. Now, also, we don't have to send the gearbox back or anything. To fix it, we're just simply going to put some RTV grey, the Permatex stuff, just on the thread. But to do it, I had to drain the rest of the gearbox oil. There was a little bit left in it, a couple of litres left in it. I had to drain it because I couldn't get this thread clean enough with sealant. So it's a bit annoying because I'm meant to be doing wiring stuff today. And to top it off, I had to redo my EGTs, my EMAPs. So the EMAPs that I fitted here last episode, run them along the front. I've got a new tuner now, and just wanted one EMAP instead of two EMAPs because it's twin scroll. So he wanted us to join each scroll across to each other, tear it across, and just have one sensor. But I also had to shorten it a heap because I used the length that I had to get it back to there was too long, and he couldn't allow for that in the tuning. It was too slow, like the response times were going to be too slow. So there's a whole weekend gone just to do two and redos, two so yeah, beep those bits out. I'm gonna remount the EMAP here, put two nut inserts. It'll still mount underneath this radiator cross member.
Alright, off we go to industrial sales on Good Friday of all days in the whole year. And here is Trev's Ford Cobra, if you're interested, and probably not, because you're here for a Skyline, I suppose. And now off we trot to the lathe. So what Trev's doing is basically making a adapter tube for the two copper lines currently to feed into, to then only go to one sensor, not the two that we currently have. So here he is just on the lathe drilling that tube out just there. And now he's put some flux around the tube and the fitting so that he can silver solder the two together. And here he goes, just warming up the tube before he can start. And there he is, silver soldering with that concentration face. Now he's finished there, so he's put it in the vise and squashed it down to a neat little size so that the copper lines will fit in and stay in. And now he's punching it there so that it makes an indentation for the two tubes. I'll make sure to upload a photo here of what it finished and what the end product looked like.
And then for the oil leak, we're just simply going to use a bit of this stuff. You know how crazy I am on my Worth products, but when it comes to something like this, there is nothing better than Permatex, and it's their ultra grey. And in fact, I think that's what Hollinger use on their gearboxes. So go with okay, so I'm just going through all my notes and paperwork from Mitch from Zolly Motorsport in Cairns, and I'm not going to go on about it too much, but thanks Mitch for all your help. We haven't got there yet, we haven't finished the car, but mate, I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to get the car done. You are far smarter than what I am, and I appreciate everything you're doing for us. So my head is literally exploding from all the wiring diagrams, all the instructions, all the pinouts, everything to do with the M-Tron and the electronics of the car. So it's time to have a break and just reset and adjust and do something that actually feels like I'm getting somewhere with the car than just doing round and round. We're getting there, but I just want to do something fun, and I think this should be pretty fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to fit the badges to the car. Okay, so this is all the old badges, and they're the same, so the new ones are exactly the same as those. They're no different whatsoever. The front badge is also the same. See how this one's got a bit of a gold tinge to it? So that's how it come out, the 94 models. I believe the earlier models, like the 89, 90s and 91s, this was silver. So here's the biggest difference, and I'm glad I got this out so I can show you guys. So there's the original one, the factory one. As you can see, all this is filled in grey. So there is a bit of font difference. See how that's stretched? This G is sort of stretched quite long. This one up here is quite a bit more bolder, a bit more thicker, but the actual footprint of them is exactly the same. So see, our R's and everything's the same. Now, also the colour of the R is different, and I much prefer this new colour. That new colour is a lot darker. This hasn't faded, that's how they come out. They were just quite a plain maroon. With this badge here on the rear, as you can see from measurements here, we've got 30mm and 11mm up. So we can't go wrong with that. On really well. It's nice and straight. There's nothing worse than looking at it and seeing that it's been debadged and rebadged and they're in the wrong spot. So really happy with that. And as I said, that new badge with the new colouring looks really nice. So 11 again, sort of brings us on that ridge through there. And then, what's it, 42 in. Okay, grab the badge. I think that's the old one. It is. These ones in the boxes here. So it's that one there.
Part number?
Part number 84891-01U0. Good.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It drops down a bit.
Yeah.
Man, that was I put it on crooked. Lucky I remembered that part number. Order another one through Kudos. So this one was a little bit more difficult to do. So I sort of worked out our 78 up, and then I know it sounds pretty straightforward, but then I went 161 across, but it's halfway. It would have been easier if it was from the same point, so 178 up and then 161 across. But because it was from two different points, it took a bit of finding out. So I've worked it out, we know how to do it. We're not going to fuck it up like we did the last one. There we go. There we go, that's perfect. You're not going to get it any more than that. God, look how flimsy that guard is. If I don't push weight on the back, look at that. But that's perfect. Then we can peel our tape off. Peel it off this way. And we're done. So we got all the badges on, which was a bit of fun. I have to order one more on the back that ended up being crooked, but the rest look really good, which is great. I'm just going through now and wiring up my M-Tron ETC 8M, which is the thermocoupling for the exhaust gas temp sensors. So it's really easy to do, and it comes with a Bosch Motorsport clip-on sensor, and you just go through and pin out in a circular motion. So I'm going to finish up by doing that. We've got a massive week of wiring, and yeah, getting that wiring in. We're going to do a lot of team view with Mitch from Zolly Motorsport to get this thing running, and then we're going to try and get the car down to Sean at Ramsdale Racing for a tune. So we've got a lot to do. We've got 2 weeks to do it, and hopefully we make it. Cheers guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.